Okay, so we're going to go over two of the common mistakes on the Chapter 5 test where we're trying to do conversions. Eventually, when you click the video right here, there's going to be a link to this. So we got a driveway, and it's poured. It has a semicircular part. Color code this nice and neat for everyone. I have half a circle. That's what semi means. And it has a rectangular part. So right there. So to begin this, anytime you're trying to find volume, the best way to think of volume is base times height. So what's our base? What's the area that this driveway is going to cover first? So the semicircle, well, the formula for a circle is pi r squared. And we're told the diameter of that circle is 14. So if I cut 14 in half, I get a radius of 7. So my area of the circle, which is essentially the base of a shape, the area on its own would be pi times 7 squared. Well, we're cutting that circle in half. So whatever that number is, we need to multiply by 0.5. Or 1/2, or we need to divide it by 2. However you cut a number into two equal parts is what you need to do there. And then the last part, so I'm going to go find the area of this circle quick. Pull out my calculator. 7 squared gives me 49 times pi gives me 153.93-ish. You want to say rounding for the end, times 0.5. The circle area ends up coming out to approximately 76.97. And that would be feet squared. Okay. So now the circle, the square, the rectangle, that is not a square. It's going to be in square units, but the rectangle area is faster and easier. It's just the length times width or base times height. Multiply the two dimensions, our two dimensions. That's why we'll have feet squared here shortly, are 14 and 24. We grab our calculator. We come up with 336 square feet. Well, that takes care of the area. That takes care of the surface. And now this is extending for a depth of 4 inches. Well, inches are not the same as feet, so we need to turn those inches into feet. If we get real technical, I don't think this is necessary, but if I got 4 inches, the conversion I need to take care of, I want to multiply it by 1 foot for every 12 inches. Inches and inches cancels out, so I got 4/12, or 1/3, because both 4 divided by 4 is 1, 12 divided by 4 is 3. 1/3 of 1/3 foot is the depth. So for the final part of finding, determine the cubic feet, that's ultimately volume. I found my base already is the area of the rectangle and the area of the circle. So I've got 76.97 square feet plus 336 square feet. And it has, so that's again, the base has a depth of 1/3 of a foot. That's the height. So I got the sum of those two numbers, 336 plus that approximately 76.97. We got 412.97 square feet as the base. I'm not going to write that on there, but that's the base. And that's square feet. So if we multiply feet by feet by feet, we end up with cubic feet, which is volume. So we multiply it by 1/3. Really, it's dividing it by third. We end up with a volume of 137.6 and the direction said round this to the nearest quarter of a yard. But we're not in yards yet. So our rounding, we don't want to do a lot of rounding yet. We're at about 136.7 if we round this to the nearest tenth. So now this is cubic feet. So the next step in the problem, if we're in cubic feet, concrete is only sold in cubic yards. So this is, and this is an approximate sign. It's approximately. I got it sitting in my calculator. I'm going to keep working with it. Well, if I want to cancel that out, we've talked extensively here. If I want to change that to yards, yards needs to go on the top. For every 1 yard, there's 3 cubic feet. That goes in the denominator. Well, a yard's not 3 cubic feet. And again, a great representation of that. 1 yard, 3 feet. I've got 3 dimensions. I got the, this is what a cube would look like. So I got another 3 feet here for a yard. I got another 3 feet, the height equaling 1 yard. So I don't truly have a cubed number there in the typical conversion that we're used to. Really, it would be 3 times 3 times 3. It'd be 27 or 3 to the third power. So how exactly you end up doing this ends up a little bit up to you. But the bottom line is, to cancel out cubic feet, I need feet to be cubed in the denominator. And to do that, I would ultimately divide by 3 times. Again, a couple different ways you can do that in a calculator. I'll pull up the calculator here. So that way you can see where we're at ultimately. So the different ways to get there. I could go 137.7. That's the number that I got from above from adding up the volume of the semicircular portion and the rectangular portion. I can go divide 3, divide 3, divide 3. That's one option. So and we're going to get the same answer a bunch of times here. 5.1 yards cubed. Directions say we need to round that to the nearest quarter of a yard. So we would have to order 5.25 cubic yards. We'd have something left over at the end. Okay. The other conversion, again, I think this should work. 137.7 divided by 3 to the third power is an option. Delete one spot. There's our 5.1 because I got 3 times 3 times 3, 3 to the third power. Or I do the math. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is, 27. So I could also divide this by 27. They all give me 5.1 cubic yards. The directions say, hey, we can only buy in increments of quarter yards, so I'd have to buy 5.25 cubic yards. And each of those cubic yards costs 175. So to finish the problem, $175 for 5.25 cubic yards. Grab our calculator, 175 times 5.5 gives us a final dollar amount of $918.75. That's what we should have gotten on the test. Please study this very thoroughly. Try to recreate a problem, and you can make your test grade go up some more.